Who is Milarepa? Milarepa, the famous Tibetan yogi, lives on through his joyous, instructional songs and poetry. Both the new translation of the 100,000 Songs of Milarepa from Christopher Stagg and Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche's exploration of his life in Milarepa, Lessons from the Life and Songs of Tibet's Great Yogi bring new light to the resonance Milarepa's story still carries centuries later. Milarepa is remembered for his remarkable determination and personal growth. His inspiring story traces the very familiar, human progression from confusion to clarity. Early in his life, Milarepa came to understand tenets of both privilege and oppression. Though born to a wealthy family, the death of Milarepa's father left him and his mother at the mercy of his aunt and uncle, who put them to work as servants for their own family. At his mother's request, Milarepa studied the craft of black magic to be better able to retaliate against their cruelty. Not only was he successful in mastering these magical abilities, he promptly used his skills to take the lives of his aunt and uncle's entire family. In this way, Milarepa had invited an immense amount of negative karma into his life as a young adult. Soon after committing these crimes, Milarepa's joy at having aided his mother began to fade, making way for inescapable remorse. This transformation led Milarepa to seek out a master teacher. Milarepa's life story shows how one can progress from being caught in the cycle of confusion, known as samsara, to becoming a student entering and practicing the path of dharma, to eventually becoming a teacher oneself and taking on the responsibility of training others. It was not long before Milarepa found Marpa the translator, a Tibetan Buddhist teacher. Marpa was able to see Milarepa's potential, but knew that the young man would have to process his remorse and uncertainty before beginning his time as a student of the Dharma. In order to guide him to a place of preparedness, Marpa set Milarepa to his legendary task of building, destroying, and rebuilding stone towers. This process was intended to purify the negativity of his past actions, so that Milarepa could begin his studies with fewer obstacles. Marpa's challenge pushed Milarepa almost to the point of suicide before he agreed to take him on as a student. Thus began Milarepa's journey to becoming the yogi and poet that he is remembered as today. He began his simple, solitary lifestyle, living in caves. He often wore little clothing, even in the winter months, and became known as the cotton-clad one. Though he did not seek students, word of his practice traveled, and he was sought out by many. It is said that Milarepa engaged with whoever approached him, and it is through his teaching that his spontaneous songs and poetry were shared. Milarepa sang hundreds of such songs. The standard collection, the 100,000 Songs of Milarepa, Tib. Mila Grubam, is said to have been compiled by Sang Nyon Herka, The Mad Yogi of Sang, based on transcriptions of the songs that up to then had been only transmitted orally. In this collection, every song comes with a story about how it came about. The collection also includes many descriptions of how Milarepa worked with people, not only through song but in nonverbal ways. We can see how he interacted with his students and how he created situations that challenged them and woke them up. That is, Milarepa did not just sing songs about the Dharma but he fully embodied the Dharma. Because of that, he was able to teach freshly, spontaneously, and with great humor using a variety of skillful means. Milarepa's poetic teachings have touched the hearts of his students and admirers for nearly 1,000 years. His life represents that of an ideal bodhisattva, as his deep compassion created the wish of bodhisattva and motivated him to obtain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. Gampopa Sonam Rinchen, born 1079 in Tibet and died 1153 in Dikpo. Gampopa was born in eastern Tibet, where he first trained as a physician and began a family. At the age of 26, after his wife and 2 children died in an epidemic, he ordained as a monk. After studying and practicing the Kadampa teachings for a period of time, at the age of 32 he met Jetsun Milarepa, with whom he studied the Mahamudra teachings. Gampopa became one of the foremost disciples of Milarepa. Meeting Milarepa. The first time Gampopa heard the name of Milarepa, he was circumambulating a stupa monument on the road and overheard a discussion among 3 beggars. One was complaining all the time about the current famine in the country and how he had not eaten for a long time. Another replied that they should be ashamed of themselves and not talk about food all the time, lest this bhikshu circumambulating the stupa should hear, which would be very embarrassing. Besides, he said, we are not the only ones who do not have anything to eat. There is the great, renowned Saint Yogi, Milarepa, who never has any food at all and who just lives in the mountains dedicating himself completely to dharma practice. He never complains about food. We all need to pray that we may develop the sincere wish to lead a life as simple as his. Upon hearing Milarepa's name, Gampopa experienced great bliss and happiness. He reported this to his teacher, who said, I have known all along that you had a close karmic relationship with such a meditation master. Go to him and all will be successful. That night, Gampopa could hardly sleep. Most of the night, he offered intense prayers and wishes that he might immediately meet the great yogi Milarepa. When he finally did doze, he had a very special dream in which he heard the sound of a white conch, the loudest on earth. He reported this as well to his teacher, who said, this is an extremely auspicious sign. You should go to find Milarepa immediately. Gampopa ran to where the beggars were camping and asked them if they knew Milarepa personally and if they knew where he was staying, and, if so, could they lead him to this teacher. He told them he had 16 ounces of gold dust and would give half of it to them and half he would keep as an offering to the great Guru, when he met him. The oldest beggar said he knew Milarepa and agreed to guide Gampopa to Milarepa's cave. The old beggar was deceitful and, on the way, admitted that he did not know the way to the cave. He claimed that he was not well and could not guide Gampopa any further. They had arrived at a place where there were no houses, people or animals. It was completely deserted. The beggar left and Gampopa found himself all alone. He wandered on and on for many days, without food, until finally he met a group of merchants. Gampopa asked one of them if he knew where Milarepa could be found. The merchant replied that he knew Milarepa well and that Milarepa was a great meditator and a great yogi. He told Gampopa that he switched his abode often, moving from cave to cave and town to town, but that nowadays he was staying in this particular town and this particular cave. The man pointed toward the cave and gave the aspiring disciple clear directions to the great yogi. Overcome by joy, Gampopa hugged the merchant in gratitude and did not let go for a long while. It was a journey of several days and as he was traveling without any food, he finally fell unconscious to the ground. When he revived, he thought that he had no karma to meet this great yogi and that he was going to die now for sure. So, he put his hands together and, with deepest gratitude and respect, prayed very hard that he would be able to take rebirth as a human being and that he would be born as Milarepa's disciple. While Gampopa was lying on the ground, waiting for death, one of the Kadampa masters saw him. Seeing that Gampopa had fallen there on the hard ground, he came over to help. He asked, "What are you doing here?" Gampopa replied, I'm looking for the great teacher Milarepa. I've been traveling for many days without food and water. Now I feel that I'm going to die, and I'm so sorry that I have no karma to see this Guru. The Kadampa master went and got some water and food and then guided Gampopa to the town where Milarepa was staying. When he reached the town, he asked many people how to meet this Guru and how to receive the specific types of teachings he was looking for. Finally, he met a person who was a great master and who was a disciple of the accomplished yogi. Gampopa told him that he had a strong desire to meet this Guru and to receive his teachings. The master told him that he could not see the great yogi immediately. He said that he must wait a few days and be tested before he could actually receive teachings. A few days before, Milarepa had had a meeting with his disciples, and he told them of the coming of Gampopa. He said that he was expecting the arrival of a bhikshu doctor who, after studying with him, would receive the complete teachings and spread them in all 10 directions. Milarepa told them of a dream he had had the previous night, in which the bhikshu doctor brought him an empty glass vase. Milarepa filled the vase with water, signifying that he would come with a completely open and receptive mind to receive the teachings, and Milarepa would fill the vase of his mind with the nectar of his complete teachings and insights. Milarepa then laughed with great joy and said, "Now I am confident that the Buddha Dharma will shine like the sun in all directions." He then sang to those gathered around him, "The milk of the white lion is no doubt nutritious, but a person who has not tasted it does not benefit from this nutrition. You must taste for yourself, even only a drop, and then you can appreciate the nutritious effects. The same is true with my teachings. First you must develop the experience of it, the taste of it, and then it will be so nutritious. There is no question of the validity and profundity of the teachings that come from the lineage of Tilopa and Naropa. But if you don't meditate on them, then you won't understand their profundity. Only after meditating on them and developing genuine experience can you fathom their depths. My great fatherly Guru, Marpa, has brought them from India, and I, the yogi, have meditated on them. I have tested the validity of these teachings and have developed the experiences accordingly. The milk of a white lion must have a special container. It cannot be put in any ordinary one. If it is put in a clay pot, for instance, as soon as this milk touches the pot cracks. For these vast and profound teachings of this lineage, there must be a special kind of practitioner. I refuse to teach the tradition to anyone who comes to receive my teachings who is not ready for them. I will only teach it to persons who are completely developed and suitable, who are ready for this teaching and the practice of it. The disciples asked Milarepa, "When is this person who you have dreamt about coming?" Milarepa answered, "He will probably reach here the day after tomorrow. He has fainted and has called for my help. I used my miraculous powers to guide him here." The next day, while meditating, Milarepa periodically burst into peals of laughter. Alarmed by these outbursts, a faithful patroness came to him and demanded an explanation. "What is the cause of this? Sometimes you are so serious and sometimes laughing. You must explain this behavior because people might think that you have gone mad. What is going on? You cannot be mysterious about this." Milarepa answered, "I am perfectly fine. My mental state is perfectly normal and I am not being mysterious. I see something funny happening to a disciple of mine who is coming to see me. First he fainted and now he has aches and sores all over his body. But he is courageous and he is exerting a great deal of effort to come and see me. Seeing this makes me laugh. I'm happy and at the same time I think it's very funny. He will reach this town soon, and whoever invites him into his or her home first will attain enlightenment in a short time because of his blessings. The generous host or hostess will get a great deal of insight and powers to accomplish his or her goals with great speed. A few days later Gampopa arrived, very weak and sick. It happened that the first door he reached was the house of the patroness who had questioned Milarepa. She was on the lookout for him, and came out immediately. She asked the seeker who he was and what he wanted. Gampopa explained the details of his journey in search of Milarepa. The patroness immediately knew that this was the disciple Milarepa had told her about. She invited him in, and made many offerings to him, remembering Milarepa's prediction. The lady regaled Gampopa with tales of Milarepa's predictions. She said, "Your Lama has been waiting for you. He has explained about you to all of us. He said that you fainted and that he sent you miraculous assistance, and now he's impatiently awaiting your arrival. You can go to see him immediately and you will have a warm reception." At this Gampopa became inflated with the praises, and thought, "Oh, I must be a very great person. My teacher has been waiting for me." Milarepa, seeing the pride that Gampopa had developed, would not even look at him for half a month. He intentionally neglected and ignored him, and Gampopa had to find another place to stay. At the end of 2 weeks, the lady led Gampopa to Milarepa's house and asked Milarepa if he would meet with Gampopa. Milarepa agreed. When Gampopa arrived, Milarepa was sitting in the center. Richumpa was sitting to one side of him on the same level seat, and on the other side, also on the same level, was another disciple. They were all dressed exactly alike, completely in white. They looked exactly alike, and sat in the same posture. They each had exactly the same expression on their faces. Milarepa waited to see if Gampopa knew who he was. Clever Gampopa may have noticed Richumpa's subtle nod, indicating that Milarepa sat in the center of the trio. Gampopa made prostrations to Milarepa, took all his offerings and stacked them up before him. He spoke of his burning desire to meet the Guru, receive the teachings and attain enlightenment. Milarepa went into meditation for a few seconds, and then reached into the pile of gold dust that Gampopa had offered, picked some up and threw it in the air. "I offer this to my Guru Marpa," he declared. All at once, the air resounded with thunder, and lightning seared the skies. There appeared a great rainbow and many other auspicious signs. Milarepa had been drinking some chang, a strong alcoholic brew. It sat in his skull cup on the table. After a while he picked up the skull cup with the liquor in it and gave it to Gampopa, who at first hesitated because he was a fully ordained monk, with a vow of abstinence. He was embarrassed, sitting there in the presence of all the other disciples. Milarepa said, "Do not have no second thoughts. Drink what I give to you." And so without any more hesitation he drank it all. Then Milarepa asked him his name, and he answered that it was Sonam Rinchen, the name his Kadampa master had given him. Milarepa thought that it was a very auspicious name. Sonam means positive force, and Rinchen means the great jewel. So he was the great jewel of positive force. Milarepa lovingly repeated a verse of praise with his name included in it 3 times. Gampopa felt that the name he had been given was very significant and meaningful.